Hi guys, and welcome back to the Chip from Head to Toe channel. Today we are talking about wilds, we're talking about raw scores, deductions and final placings. But if we are just meeting for the first time, hi, my name is Caroline and this channel is dedicated to everything UK cheer. So make sure you subscribe and hit that notification button so you don't miss a thing. Let's go. First up, Rising Stars Ellipse. They placed 5th with a score of 123.85 and they got 0 deductions, leaving them with a score of 123.85. Well done ladies. Ice 5. They placed 6th with a score of 121.15 and they also got 0 deductions, leaving them with the final score being 121.15. Unity Ruby, they placed 11th with a score of 114.15. They got 2 points in deduction, so their final score was 112.75. Crimson Heat Fury, they placed 16th with a raw score of 113.15 and they got 7 points in deductions, so their final score is 106.15. UMCA Killer Queens, love the name. They placed 17th, raw score was 107.8 with 2 points deduction, so that is 105.8. Cosmic 5, they placed 26th with a raw score of 94.55. They got 6 points in deductions, so a final score of 88.55. Gymfinity, this is their first time at Worlds as well for Gymfinity, placed 26th with a score of 86.1 and they also hit 0. So their final score is 86.1. Well done ladies. First time at Worlds and hitting their 0 is an achievement in itself. Surrey Starlets Amethyst, they placed 30th with a raw score of 91.55 and they got 13 points in deductions, so their final score was 78.55. Strike Force Lady Mafia, this is also their first time at Worlds. They placed 37th with a raw score of 84 points. They also got 13 points in deductions, so their final score is 71. The Rising Stars Ellipse scored, or raw score was 130.35 and they hit 0. So their final score was 130.5. Congratulations. Ice 5 placed 6th at Worlds, so this is the final placing. So top 10, 124 was their raw score and they also hit 0, so 124 was their final score. Unity Ruby, they placed 8th. Their raw score was 130.05, but then they got 7 points in deductions, so the final score was 123.05. Gymfinity placed 13th. The raw score was 102.4 and they got 1 point in deductions, so their final score was 101.4, but still 1 point in deductions. Lady Mafia, they placed 15th. Their raw score was 96.55 and they got 6 points in deductions, so their final score was 90.55. Rising Stars Midnight, on day 1 placed 12th with a raw score of 113.5, 2 points in deductions, so 111.5. Courage Dynamite Ammunition, on day 1 placed 13th with a raw score of 118.7, 8 points in deductions, so 110.7. RSD Legends from Wales placed 25th, 101.95, and they had 8 points in deductions, so that is 93.95. Stump Work Alliance from Ireland, they placed 41st. They got a score of 78.15. They got 9 points in deductions, so that is 69.15. Predator Athletics Anaconda, they placed 43rd. They had a raw score of 85.05. They had 17 points in deductions, so their final score was 68.05. Cheer Force Odyssey, they placed 44th. They had a raw score of 79.25. They had 12 points in deductions, so their final score was 67.25. Country Dynamite Ammunition placed 3rd. Their raw score was 134.2. They hit 0, so their final score is 134.2. They also globed. Rising Stars Midnight, they got a score of 126.25. They got 2 points in deductions, so their final score was 124.25. RSD Legends placed 11th. They got a raw score of 110.85. Got 5 points in deductions, so their final score was 105.85. Predators Athletic Anaconda, they placed 13th. They had a raw score of 95.5. They had 4 points in deductions, so their final score was 87.75. And Stuntwork Alliance, they placed 17th. They had a raw score of 86.65. They had 3 points in deductions, so their final score was 83.25. Country Dynamite Ignite, on day 1 they placed 8th. They had a score of 127.75. They had 1 point in deductions, so their final score was 126.75. Oblivion All-Star Revolution, this is day 1 remember, placed 16th with a raw score of 109.1. They had 5 points in deductions, so the final score was 100. Country Dynamite Ignite placed 11th. Their raw score was 123.3. They got 9 points in deductions, so our final score. Oblivion All-Star Revolution placed 12th. Their raw score was 118.75. They got 5 points in deductions, so their final score is 113.75. Unity Back placed 14th with a raw score of 107.05. They had 4 points in deductions, so the final score was 103.05. Unity Back placed 7th with a raw score of 112.35. They had 8 points in deductions, so their final score was 104.35. Rising Stars Electra, they placed 13th, a raw score of 94.4, 3 points in deductions, so their final score was 91.4. Rising Stars Electra placed 9th, a raw score was 96.05. They had 3 points in deductions, so their final score was 93.05. Unity Royal, they placed 13th. Their raw score was 110.15. They had 4 points in deductions, so their final score was 107.05. So there we have it. There is all the scores for all the UK teams and Ireland who attended this year's 2019 World Fair. Make sure if you've enjoyed this video, subscribe and give us a thumbs up, and watch out for our next video where we're going to be talking about our highlights and a few little things we think were not too great about this year's Worlds. Until next time guys,